But then I was at a legislative coffee session and Ken said his stuff to me and I was just like, I can do this better than you.
This is exactly the reason I'm interviewing people too,
yeah.
is because I feel like people are going to be out there, they're going to see you running, and they're going to have one or two reactions. Both are going to project them into office. They're either going to look at you and go, I can do better than that guy, or they're going to look at you and go, if he can do it, I can do it. And so
I hope the latter.
Hopefully the latter. The latter would be performed.
What I want to see is people building rural power. I want rural people to have leverage in Topeka, but I also want rural to have leverage in Washington, right? Mm-hmm. These things need to be working together, and we need to be thinking about, okay, what are the public resources that we need? I'll give you a good example. We have a public park and a public pool in Plainville, right?
Yeah.
We recently added a splash pad. We went for almost no grant funding for that. Eventually, we did get a grant for it, but it was halfway during the construction process. Splash pad, no one's happy with it. It hasn't been built to spec or something. It doesn't work correctly. When it's windy, water goes all over in the wrong place. Yeah. So people look at that and they say, okay, that's basic government waste. I don't want that waste. I think that's a luxury. When we have a downtown where most of our buildings aren't occupied,
I'm going to take a drive through there tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I got to check out what Plainville. Is it the plainest?
Yeah.
This is the reason I came out here to do the interview in person too. Is I have driven through here. I lived in Denver. I've driven through here 100 times, and I stop in Hayes here, and I stay at a hotel or I get gas, and I've never ventured. And then I was like, he's from Plainsville.
Yeah,
check that
Plainville.
out.
Plainville. Yeah, it used to be Paradise Flats back in the day, but now it's Plainville.
It's
so
just
it's like
plain.
Longville. Yeah.
Is it an accurate description? Is it Plainville? That's like an 80s insult. This is Plainville, man. Let's get out of here.
It is and it isn't, right? I think there's two things that are really unique about it. And there's a lot of incredibly smart people in my mom's generation and right around that generation who, in the 80s, made a lot of money either farming or in the oil industry, and they went on to do amazing things and contribute back to their community. My Uncle Chuck is probably one of the biggest inspirations for that.
Yeah.
He owned a furniture company called Destin Furnier, and that collapsed in the end of 2020 and 2021. And the reasons for that are many. You really have to zoom out and look at the totality of the luxury furniture market and how things are consolidating, things are changing very rapidly.
Everyone's going to like cheap stuff now too.
Yeah. And so the market was shrinking as well. So that became a problem with the way his company basically was set up. But he also knew he was the largest private employer in the area. And so we have this gorgeous building in the center of downtown Plainville that's $8 million. And
that's
it's
some
now,
roots.
And it's now owned by the hospital, and they use it basically for file keeping and for some offices for mental health and storage. And it's really sad. You look down the rest of Plainville, it looks like it hasn't been. Some buildings have been restored. My cousin Adam, Chuck's son, just recently restored Letha's, and that's going to be a community kitchen.
The same last name as yours?
No, his is Como. So Comeau.
Yeah.
Comeau. And I think what they've done, what Adam's done is incredible. And he's done that to several other buildings, like Brandt's Meat Market. He owns Brandt's with his wife, Ashley. And we have a location here. We have a location in Lucas. I help them out on the holidays and stuff with whatever they need.
There's a candidate I got to run in 81, which is like south of Wichita. Yeah. It's Derby. It's against Carpenter, who's like the second highest in the House.
I gotcha.
And I've known him for a decade, and he has a little farm, and that's one of the reasons he thinks he can win. He's running as a Democrat is because he's made a lot of connections with people because they buy his meat.
Yeah.
And they know him and his wife and their children from the market.
Yeah. Same thing with the handlebar. Like I know a lot of people, and we pull from another.
How do you like organize and communicate? And is everybody around here on social media, or do you have to actually?
Facebook's
you got to go out.
Facebook's huge, but you got to be really careful with Facebook because you have your keyboard warriors. Everybody thinks they know something, and what I've learned is that I know nothing and I know everything. Yes. Which is to say, I know that there are programs out there. But I don't always know if we can execute.
I think sometimes the people in comments are seeing things, but they don't live in the rural area.
Yeah.
And they just, and that's,
Sometimes, yeah.
this is one thing that led me to be more interested in the rural area too, is trying to explain to people in California why they should not want us to all die.
Yeah.
Because we go red.
Yeah.
They were just like on TikTok.
And there are very reasonable reasons, I think, to go red sometimes.